Good morning, everybody who's seeking truth. Let's start with today's little tidbit of truth. In Matthew 18:3, and said, Verily I say unto you, except ye be converted and become as little children, ye shall not enter into the kingdom of heaven. Whosoever therefore shall humble himself as this little child, the same is greatest in the kingdom of heaven. I love that word, humble. We must be humble as a little child to enter into heaven. And what did children do best? They ask questions with an open mind and a humble heart. Sometimes they never stop. They ask questions all day long. It gets on your nerves, but do your best. And if you don't know the answer, be honest with the child. Hey, I'm not sure of that. Let's look it up. Let's find out. Let's ask somebody. So years ago, I went to my Father in heaven and started asking the big questions, just like a child would. But it took me many, many years to figure out that in order to hear his still small voice, I needed to learn and practice the wonderful Canadian art of shut up and listen. Yeah, that's hard. Everybody talks to God, but very few people have learned to close the mouth, quiet the brain, open the ears, and just spend an hour or two listening for the voice of God. Keeping the brain from daydreaming is a hard one, but it can be done. That is the biggest secret to gaining knowledge, wisdom, and truth. When you're reading a scripture and you want to know what it means, don't ask 100 people. Don't ask the pastor. Ask the author of the Bible. Ask God. He wrote it. He'll tell you what that scripture means. And that's it for today. Think on that. Like when you're talking to another person and they're talking to you, really shut up your brain and listen. Like a lot of people will form their next sentence before that person has finished talking. That's rude. In order to really, really hear what they're trying to communicate to you requires you to shut your brain up and listen to what they're saying. It's a lost art. It really is. People don't listen during a conversation. Each person in that conversation is always thinking about what they're going to say next. And what really helps is if you repeat the last part of what they said, that'll really sink it into your brain. And then they will know you were properly listening to them. So listening to God is the absolute key to learning new things, understanding Scripture, and hearing what God has for you in your life and what His will is. Now, hopefully tomorrow we can get into building a foundation of our house of praise and worship. As you know, I am a praise and worship leader for about 40 years. I go around teaching it now. There's no sense learning how to praise and worship properly if we don't know who we are worshiping. So the first thing we're going to start with is, who is God? What is His name? Great questions. Catch you tomorrow. Have a good one.